My video for September 19th, 2019 is video number 3212. The title is a short one, Crime and Punishment. My previous video had some interesting comments only 8 hours after posting. I mess up this name. Hermuda, the drummer, I hope I'm saying that right, asked, quote, by the way, do you not love your own son or daughter regardless of what choices they make in life? End quote. I replied, yes, and if they committed crimes like rape or murder, I would expect them to be punished relative to the crimes committed, end quote. Peter Egler responded, quote, means means if you would be the judge, you would punish them, and I don't know what, that doesn't make sense to me, but that's not his first language, so I give him break. I put in brackets, if they raped or murdered. Well, I wouldn't. So Peter is saying, I wouldn't punish them even if they committed rape or murder. I shot back, yes, especially murder that is premeditated, not necessarily the death penalty, but certainly a response proportional to their crime with the intent of transformation, end quote. As I think about this in preparation for this video, intent needs more examination and thought. My intent is to find love and harmony for everyone. Of course, that is a huge challenge since we all have differing experience and training. Finding the common ground is tough. For me, the so-called elite politicians and money changers are the worst criminals and perhaps the most difficult to consider. They have likely been abused from very early in their lives. Of course, the abused often become abusers. Isn't that evident? Once again, I'm waiting till late in the day to record my video with only a couple of hours left before it goes live at midnight, which is what I've been doing for a long time now. And this afternoon, instead of recording my video, I got to watching 3 videos with Corey Goode. Now, Corey Goode is one that works with David Wilcock, and I've watched a lot of David's videos, and I've watched some others of Corey Goode's, but this was probably I spent like 3 hours or maybe a little more, I don't know exactly the time, but watching his videos, and there was a lot of food for thought in them. And one of the things that they discuss is that we have past lives and we've all committed many, many crimes. And we discussed that in our coffee talk meeting tonight, or meetup group. We were discussing past lives and things like that. And I have had some past life regressions where I did some terrible things as a priest, supposedly. At least that's that. And I cried because I presided over human sacrifice, which, as I remember that, was the culture. Although we have a lady that was in the group tonight who's done a lot of study with Native Americans, and she thinks that that whole idea of Aztec priests committing, killing children and stuff like that is not understood. Now, I don't know the answer to the questions of what happened in antiquity and past lives and stuff like that. I believe that we all have had many past lives, and it's suggested that it's God, our creator, wanting to experience every possibility capable on the good side and the evil side. And so we've all had our memories wiped out because God could not have the experience if we came in with all of our memories intact. So these are things that I'm forced to think about. But right now, I want to focus on what happens in this lifetime. I'm going to overlook anything that has to do with what we may or may not have done in a past life. In this lifetime, I think there's a need for humanity, to have the concept that there is such a thing as justice. And I don't mean just us. I mean that people that commit crimes need to be held responsible for the crimes that they commit. And it should be in this lifetime. We're not talking about something that somebody did previously, in a previous lifetime. That's not relevant in this lifetime. It may in the bigger picture be relevant, but not for this lifetime. And so I'm focusing on this lifetime. And if I murdered somebody by accident, say I was careless driving and I ran over a pedestrian, or killed somebody that was on a bicycle or even in another vehicle, and they died as a result of the accident, well, that's not premeditated murder. Premeditated murder should always have a harsher penalty than an accidental death. And I don't know if there's such a thing as accidental rape. I mean, I have had pangs of guilt from one time when I'm in a relationship with a certain person, and they asked me to stop, and I had to wait till I finished the intercourse. And that was really the last time that I was with that person. So that really ended the relationship, because I didn't stop until I was finished. And I still, when I think about that, I still have a little bit of guilt that I did not honor the lady who was asking me, please stop. So none of us are completely innocent of anything. And the whole idea of justice is certainly a challenge, because if we continue to allow people to get away with crimes, and here's the problem, the elite do get away with crimes and have been for centuries. They have been child molesters, drinking even the blood of children. In many cases, if you believe some of the testimony and the things that have been revealed of the so-called elite, they have been pedophiles, rapists, child murderers. And as I said, part of their sacrifice and their ritual is to drink blood. That's where communion comes from, drinking blood. And that's another whole subject that I'm not going to get into in this video as far as religion goes. But we need, if we're going to be elevated in consciousness, we have to become aware that there are penalties for actions that hurt others, especially those that are done consciously and premeditatedly. Now, some people would say, but Ron, none of us are really conscious. And there's a level of truth in that too. So these are not easy subjects that I'm looking at. Not something that's cut and dry, but it should be cut and dry, in my opinion, that if someone by forethought kills somebody, they need to be held accountable. And the penalty, even though I don't believe in the death penalty, in some cases I think it would actually be appropriate, depending on the level of barbarism that was displayed in the act of the murder. So these are things that I wrestle with, and obviously some of my friends wrestle with them as well, which is why they commented. And I appreciate comments, even when you don't agree with me, and I appreciate having the ability to respond to those comments. Thank you, folks, for listening, and namaste.